What is going on, beautiful humans? Today is Monday, January 6th, about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'm going to be posting this video today. Sunday, I lifted. I did a full body functional training workout and mobility. So today I am sore, but I'm going to do a mobility routine and then run like 3 miles. A lot of times when we're training for something, it's looking up what other people have done, which I think is a huge importance, but it's also about adapting it to you and your needs to show up as your best self. And for me, it's going to be, again, like I said, running. So I'm putting the emphasis there. And I'm trying to understand programming for running. So I kind of want to start with something that actually knows programming for running. So I went on the App Store and I downloaded this app called Running. And it's basically training plans for 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon. But actually I typed in the Hyrox Miami, the one that I'm doing, and the specific date in their app, and look, it came up. So it has the exact date, 16 weeks out, and basically I put in the details of how many days I want to run, which days of the week I don't want to run on, and which day I would want my longest run to be. So it has me doing like 2 of the runs that I've done this week, where it's like, average pace of like a lower easy run of like 2 miles. And then it'll have a tempo run day, so I'm like working on speed up and speed down, and really just trying to like work more on hitting at a higher speed, and then kind of cool downs in between. And then the final day of the week of running will be a long run. So 2 easy runs a week that will actually build up over time. This is obviously week 1, and then a tempo run to build on speed, and then a long run to build on endurance. And it's pretty much going to cycle through that. And then I'm going to be doing full body functional workouts. I want to make sure I'm not losing muscle and I'm keeping my joints strong by lifting 2 to 3 times a week and doing it full body. So it's like I'm hitting the volume, and even if I miss 1 day a week, I still am like at least keeping on my muscle with eating the protein number that I set, which is the pounds in body weight that I want to weigh. So I'm excited about it. Calves, super sore. I think the big thing is going to be keeping those stretched. I have a cupping kit, a scraping kit, and then obviously the stem machine. So just staying on recovery and then stretching before and after I'm running is going to be huge. The biggest thing for me is mobility and flexibility, so that I can keep my body fluid and running and not be in excruciating pain. I'm going to be following my own program for that. It's a functional health program. I'm just going to show you what I'm looking at. So I have a 1-week free trial of this that I'll leave in the description below. And if anything from the 1-week trial, you'll understand the mobility and flexibility part of it, and then you'll get 3 free days of the full body training. So basically the first week. With this, it has a routine that I do before every workout, and it's basically a foam rolling piece that takes like a couple minutes, and then bird dogs to engage the abs, cat-cow to loosen up the lumbar spine, the lower back, and just the hips in general. The world's greatest stretch to really stretch out the hip flexors, your T-spine, and then just the overall full body. And then for me, my hips are really tight, and they're just gonna get tighter with running. So I'm doing Captain Morgan's, alternating front to side, cool little metric that I've found from a physical therapist, and then internal, external rotation for my shoulder joints, because I realized, as the repetitive motion of running, it really tightens up these shoulder joints. So it's key to keep those mobile and flexible, because they do cross-sectionally work with the hips. So if you're tight in one hip, you're probably tight in the opposite shoulder of that side, which is true for me. I'm tight in my right side of my hip, and I'm tight in my left side of my shoulder. So just doing that every day is just going to keep those imbalances more balanced, and working on my KPIs, my key performance indicators, which is going to be keeping my body fluid and mobile so that I can keep training. Because the worst thing about prepping for an event is not prepping. So keeping me in the game every day, keeping my body moving and working towards that goal in some fashion, comes down to flexibility, mobility. How quick can I recover between running and lifting and working out to show up for the next day at as best as I can. Now, the functional training program, I have this workout routine at the beginning of every workout because I think it's super important to stay mobile. And then each workout is designed to incorporate functional strength training through different ranges of motion, different planes of motion, dispersing that weight throughout your body and making you functional, that carries over just outside the gym but into everyday life. That is kind of the premise behind this whole thing. And so you can just get it below for free. Everything has a video link for each exercise, and each exercise has the main exercise that I would do. It also has an intermediate exercise and a beginner exercise depending on where you're at in your lifting journey. So really everything that you need in this one thing, with a lot of different certifications that I've paid for and time that I've taken to learn from other people and just develop people over time, tracking every single one of their workouts. I've put it into this program, and so I know it works, and I'd love to share at least a week with you if you're open to it. So there's about 75 exercises in just this one free pamphlet, which is 75, there's almost 100 videos along with that. So a lot of value in this 1 week free trial, so please check it out. The other thing that I spoke about in my previous video is that I am doing this with a training partner. I'm doing doubles. And so I made a commitment to him that we should, every morning we wake up, we send a picture of ourselves shirtless to each other with our weight. And the idea behind this was on race day, I was watching videos of people run the Hyrox and dudes were with their shirts off, and I really want to do that, and I'm not shirt off level currently, but that is a goal. In 103 days, I want to do this competition with my shirt off proudly. And so sending each other every day until we are proud and show up race day with our shirts off, ready to go, looking like beasts. And I think this commitment of just like, I have to send a picture of him with my shirt off the next day also makes my late night cravings kind of go away, and remind myself that like, hey, I want to show up looking good in this picture the next day, so I won't ruin that by eating something that shouldn't, or change my diet, and making sure that my calories and macros look good every day as I'm tracking them, so that I can show up the next day on the scale, on the phone, and in front of this camera telling you that I'm staying on my stuff, I'm doing the right things, and I'm trying to help other people with this blueprint along the way. So every year I start off by wanting to make it a commitment to read, and I set a numerical value to it of like 10 pages a day, a book a month. I've done this for a few years now. And I found that what works best is just making a checklist and having read on there so that I read. And if I want to read 10 pages, if I want to read 1 page, if I want to read 100 pages, I just leave it up to what I'm feeling that day. And it's really just the book that will determine how much I read. This book is one of those 25 to 50 pages, maybe 100 every time I open it. It is Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, the famous actor. The quote goes like this, but let me preface it by saying, when I started all my social media platforms like 10 years ago as a kid, the quote that was in each of my bios was, "Take the road less traveled and leave a trail," by Robert Frost. And Matthew McConaughey dives a little bit deeper on this, basically saying the road that we choose isn't necessarily the road with the least amount of traffic. The introvert may need to get out of the house and engage with the world and get public. The extrovert may need to stay home and read a book. Sometimes we need to get out there, sometimes we need to get in there. Some days the road less traveled is a solitary dirt trail. On other days, it's a subway on line 7. So he's basically saying that the road less traveled doesn't always mean that it's a dirt road and not the highway. It just depends on you and that day even. So I'll see you in the next video. Have a beautiful day, and if you're working with this thing and training for something of your own, just keep hammering away every day. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.